bruh, bruh, bruh. Hey kids, remember when you used to wake up early for Saturday morning cartoons and your biggest worries in life were whether or not the princess was in this or another castle? Let's go back there, because it's Throwback Thursday. Well, hey there everybody. It's time to take a look at another NES game from my collection. This time it's Dudes with Attitude. Oh yes, such attitude from these dudes. Incomparable the amount of attitude that is just oozing from every pore of these weird little smiley-faced dudes. Anyway, this game comes to us in 1990 from American Video Entertainment. Those of you who know who American Video Entertainment is just went, oof. Yeah, exactly. This is a game, I don't know what happened here. Like, maybe I was hit over the head and woke up with my wallet missing and a copy of Dudes with Attitude on my chest, you know, as a warning, don't go down dark alleys. Or maybe I paid actual American dollars for this. I think I'd rather have been left it as a warning from some sort of postmodern street toughs than for me to have paid actual money, you know, like... But I own this. I have it. I have a physical copy of this game. And I don't know if I thought it might be like a fun side-scrolling beat-em-up like Bad Dudes, which, you know, that Data East bit of joy. That, like, yeah, the president has been kidnapped. Are you a bad enough dude? Kidnapped by ninjas. Sorry, I left out the best part. He's just been regular kidnapped, the president. I mean, even that's a better premise than this game. I mean, honestly, like, a better premise than this game would be, you know, the president went to the bathroom and hasn't come out, and it's been like 15 minutes, and normally we wouldn't be worried, but all he's had today is oatmeal, and we know this because we're with him every step of the way. Should we go in there? That is a better premise than this game. So yeah, for real, this is some nonsense. So yeah, I own this, and I don't know if I thought like, oh, maybe it's like Bad Dudes, or maybe maybe it is Bad Dudes, which I don't think I thought that. I think I was smart enough to know. Or maybe it was the shape of the cartridge, because, you know, you get some of those weird shaped cartridges, and those are the games that are worth some serious coin, you know. Same is true with Atari cartridges. You get them weird T-handle ones, those are worth big time coin. So, yeah, you know, you look for the ones with a weird cartridge. And so, yeah, in all likelihood, that's why I picked this up. And was hoping, like, hey, Dudes with Attitude, maybe it's like, maybe it's like Bad Dudes. It is not. It is not. But you gotta know a thing or two about this developer to understand, like, really what kind of badness you're dealing with. I know you're seeing things on the screen right now, and I could be describing those things. I will get to that. I will get to that. But I've got to tell you, like, who we're dealing with here. So American Video Entertainment was an unofficial Nintendo game maker. And see, Nintendo had the whole seal of the Nintendo like seal of quality, indicating like, we guarantee this is a game worth owning. You know, it's not some flawed piece of junk. It is something that Nintendo is okay with existing in the world. Now, granted, you know, you can find games that are not that fun that have the Nintendo seal of quality, but with those games you can't really doubt, like, is this a game, you know? Or like, is this worthy of being put onto a cartridge because of the amount of fun that it presents. You know, the seal of quality, the entire point behind it was to be like, this is a good game. You know, if you're buying from Nintendo, we only let companies put out a certain number of games a year because we saw what happened with Atari. Sorry, I'm an Atari fanboy forever, but I also know what happened in 1983. And so American Video Entertainment was this unofficial maker, and their quality was it bad, you know, like, in a word, bad. You know, and they actually sued Nintendo, so that, you know, they were like antitrust suit. You can't own the right to make all the Nintendo games in the world. which is a fun, like, it's kind of a landmark thing because it's like, well, we make the hardware. Like, why shouldn't we control what gets to go into our hardware? And that was a novel argument at the time. This was the first time these things were being fought out, really. Well, maybe not the first time, because there were like various like devices and whatnot. The Game Genie and like the one that made your screen not blink, the de-blinkifier, that weird, is it pink? If I remember correctly, cartridge that you can snap on and it's supposed to make your NES not blink. And Nintendo was like, yeah, but that disables things on our side and we don't like it. Because it's disabling their DRM chip. Because the NES had DRM, even back then. Crazy to think about now, but yes, those cartridges were DRM'd in a very, like, old school way, of course. But, like, it's funny, all of the bootleg games came up with different ways of doing it. There were the games with the dip switches on the back, where you had to do the right setting, so that, because if this one doesn't work, then do that one and send it different, because they're like sending a voltage across the lockout chip, and like locking out the lockout chip, but it has to be the right voltage through the right pinout or whatever. I don't know exactly how it works, but you're throwing dip switches to be like, here we go. And that's kind of fun that you're just telling children, like, children, it's about time you know how to throw dip switches. This is going to come in handy, nerds. And it does. It does. It's a handy life skill. Everybody needs to know how to throw dip switches and, be able to read the settings that are all written in abbreviations, where you're like, I think I know what this will do if I throw this one. Let's turn it on and find out. Anyway, regardless, so yeah, those, you had cartridges that were cleverly designed by the creator to short out the lockout chip. There were all kinds of systems that people had to bypass it, but every single unofficial cartridge manufacturer, including American Video Entertainment, had a means of bypassing Nintendo's DRM, essentially. And so, like, yeah, they published games, and that was their thing. They published a bunch of games that already existed but had never been ported to the NES because, the companies that made them didn't have that ability, because Nintendo would have never gone in for it. Nintendo would have never given them the, the Nintendo seal of quality, which is why they published games like Blackjack and Q-Stick, which, of course, remain household names to this day. And and they also, those are the games they published. They developed two on their own. And of course, those two are Dudes with Attitude, this piece of garbage that you've been watching this whole time and wondering, what is happening on the screen? I don't understand what this is that I am seeing. Yeah, don't worry. I will explain it. We're almost there. I won't forget to do that part of the video. But like, Blackjack and Q-Stick. Oh, such thrilling, awesome titles for the NES. And then the two that they actually developed, Dudes with Attitude, which you're seeing right now. The other one is Trolls on Treasure Island, that's just your dad's favorite game. Yeah, go ask him. I dare you. Ask your dad. Dad, your favorite game, Trolls on Treasure Island, right? He will say yes. How could he say otherwise? It is his favorite game, after all. It has to be. It must be. Such a great NES game that people remember so fondly. Trolls on Treasure Island. Anyway, so Dudes with Attitude is nothing that its title suggests. You get to choose. This is where I describe the gameplay. You choose a smiley face. You could choose a boy one, a girl one. You could be like the cool guy, or you could be the beautiful girl, or you could be the clown. Oh, isn't that silly? Be a clown named Bozo. Oh my goodness. Such, hilarity. High class, highbrow hilarity. So you choose your smiley face, and you can play one or two player. I don't know what the two player is like. I wouldn't ask another human to play this with me. Because I played it by myself and was like, I'm not doing this to someone else. I have a moral center, and I would never do this to another human being. I'm sorry. Like, I know American Video Entertainment would, but they were, trying to get a buck off of this back in the day, and they did. Not just from me, who bought it secondhand, but from whoever the poor schlub was that paid full price. Anyway, so you choose your smiley face, and then your smiley face bounces around the screen, and you can kind of control it, kind of. But not as much as you'd think. And it's really hard to control. And you have to avoid obstacles, and you have to pass through certain, like, colored boxes that then make your face that color, and then you can collect gems of that color. There you go. That's how it goes. And then when you clear all the gems, the exit appears, and you go out the exit, and yay, you just won the level. Cool. I feel like I beat most of the levels in the gameplay that you're watching right now. Like, I beat most of the levels. Most of them. I did. I literally beat most of the levels. And so, like, even though the levels are, like, reasonably designed, I mean, they have a design, and you can't say that, like, they didn't have a design in mind that was like, okay, figure this out, and then you do, and then you're like, okay, and now I'm done forever with this idea. Because the core gameplay is a terrible idea. This is essentially a block breaker game where you play the ball instead of the paddle. And everybody knows that it's better to play the paddle. Strikey Sisters, I reviewed it recently. You play the paddle. Even though you're a character swinging a sword, you are the paddle. And it's a much better idea to play the paddle, and that's why that game is really fun. Whereas this one is terrible because you play the ball. Like, why would you want to play the ball? That don't make no sense. And so, yeah, that's why we have, like, a cajillion Arkanoid games and a bajillion ripoffs of Arkanoid, half of which end in the word noid, like Bananoid. Remember that one for DOS? Great game. Great game. And yet, like, ends in noid as a nod to the granddaddy of them all, Arkanoid. And there's a bunch of Arkanoid games, and I would rather play any of them because you get to play the paddle and not the ball. So I can't even with this game. I cannot even. So final score-wise, I award it half of an Arkanoid paddle, and I swear in my wrath never to play it again. And, here's the question you might be wondering. Will I get rid of it? Nope, because ultimately I'm still a collector, and this is something to have collected. You know, like, there are, good bad movies and bad movies, and people who collect good bad movies definitely have both types in their collection. So I am one of those people. I will keep it in the collection because that's how I operate. I don't get rid of games, but, like, oh boy, this game gets an official oh boy. Anyway, people, thank you for being here for this one. I will see you in the next one. Okay, oh boy, bye.